On this episode of Warriors Ground, we take you behind the scenes as the Warriors visit the White House.
Give it up for the NBA champion, Golden State Warriors.
And spend some time with Jackie Moore, the first African-American to play for the Warriors franchise.
It took a lot of courage not to respond, but just to let it go.
Plus, we put the spotlight on an internet sensation as he meets his hero, Stephen Curry.
We gotta give you something to remember tonight.
Oh, man.
All of this and more on Warriors Ground. Welcome to another episode of Warriors Ground. I'm your host, Lawrence Scott. We're here at Oracle Arena, and in just a few hours, Dub Nation will come pouring through the turnstiles to see the defending champs in action. But it's not just the game that folks are arriving early to see. It's Stephen Curry's pregame routine that has captivated fans here in the Bay Area and all over the country. We met up with one fan in particular, a young fan, Noah Cutler, who has taken Curry's pregame routine to a completely new level and was recently invited to a Warriors game to showcase his skills in front of the reigning MVP. Stephen Curry's pregame workout has become just as popular to watch as the game itself. 11-year-old Noah Cutler recently took the internet by storm after posting a video on his Instagram account mimicking Steph's moves.
That move was blowing up. I just wanted to do it and thought that it would be cool. It would be cool if I did.
Did it so fast.
We saw ESPN pick it up, and then after that, it just was kind of like bam, 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 bam. We saw it on Reddit as the second top trending topic on the internet. It took off so quick that next thing we know, we had DC media outlets contacting us. You know, they saw him play at games and stuff like that, and it's just slowly progressed from like 30,000 Instagram followers up to 111, and it's been nuts.
It's amazing and crazy, and I can't believe that it's happening to my son. The words that people say to him and kids that look up to him, we get some of the nicest comments on Instagram in his inbox, and it's humbling and it's amazing that it's happening to him, and he's well deserving of it.
Not only was Noah here at Oracle Arena to warm up with Steph in the pregame, but he also participated in the game experience.
Give it up for Noah, 45 seconds on the clock. Noah, try and copy that. Go, here it is. Whoa, wait a minute. Uh-oh, he's got some skills. What? Oh my! That's a world record, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Noah Cutler. Did you see that? MRC. He certainly copied that.
We gotta give you something to remember tonight.
Oh, man.
There you go, boss. You can grow into them, but I probably wouldn't wear them.
Oh my gosh.
Take those home with you.
Thank you.
All right. See you later.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem.
Oh my gosh.
I had really fun. It was nice to meet Steph Curry. That was crazy.
Wow. That's awesome. Did you write your name on it? Yeah.
Nice handles.
You never know when dreams can come true, not just in a video, but in real life, here on Warriors Ground. Up next on Warriors Ground, we travel to North Carolina to meet with a Warriors pioneer, Jackie Moore.
He helped guys after him get into the league, have more equal rights, being able to play anywhere, being able to eat anywhere.
In February, come along Black History Month, it's a huge deal for a lot of these players. I think for them, it just tells them that, okay, you know what, this is something we can recognize. And I think in the back of their minds, they're thinking, we're happy to be a part of this league that recognizes this and that acknowledges it.
I think it's really important and really cool because I know growing up as a kid, I learned a lot about players and stuff that I never would have learned about through the NBA.
Our players have a great visibility in the country, and we have so much exposure right now where our players can reach a lot of different people.
So I think it's really great that we can teach kids about the older players, what they had to go through so this league could stay afloat.
Andre Iguodala actually designed a Black History Month t-shirt that the players are wearing, came up with a cool slogan, Black History Month is golden.
I think it speaks to the league's desire for inclusivity. It's pretty clear that the league understands how important it is to not just the players, but everybody that is a part of the league itself.
Andre certainly did do a great job designing this Black History is Golden t-shirt as the Warriors honored Black history throughout all the month of February. And as the Warriors studio team produced a series of videos to celebrate Black History Month, we traveled to North Carolina, where we visited North Carolina A&T, the alma mater of Warriors legend Al Attles. Plus, we also visited Charlotte and the home of Jackie Moore, the first African American to play for the Warriors.
North Carolina is a place that's near and dear to my heart. I attended the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and got to know the people of that great state. Encapsulated in those streets is a rich history. A history that has moved this great country and led to changes that have profoundly impacted every single one of us.
That if America is to remain a first-class nation, she can no longer have second-class citizens.
In the early 1950s, it was impossible for a young African-American boy to become an NBA player. But thankfully, basketball pioneers like Jackie Moore and Alvin Attles both overcame many obstacles to pave the way for future generations of African-American players in our league.
Corner three, why not?
To greater understand the impact our Warrior legends had on the game of basketball, we must first look at the civil rights battles that were taking place around them during those tumultuous times.
This is the actual lunch counter that 4 young students walked into February 1, 1960 at the F.W. Woolworth lunch counter.
The Greensboro Four knew that the only way to gain equality would be to take a cue from the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and stage their very own nonviolent protests.
They sat down at this counter that used to be a whites-only lunch counter and requested a simple cup of coffee. They were denied service, which was to be expected, but they continuously sat, and that was the beginning of our movement called the sit-in movement.
Leading significant change is never easy, but nothing worth fighting for ever is. That is why change usually comes about when a group of people band together and fight for a common goal.
It took a heroic amount of courage to muster up to walk from the campus of A&T to the F.W. Woolworths. These young men could have been killed. They knew that it was going to take some major nerves to walk in here and sit down and request service at a whites-only lunch counter.
These courageous young men were students at North Carolina A&T, a well-known African-American university that has produced many historical figures, including our very own Alvin Attles, who was also a student at the time.
You know, he was coming along during a very tumultuous time in our country, but a time of change and a time of change for the better. And a matter of fact, a lot of athletes went back the next day to the Woolworth counter and joined the A&T 4, Greensboro 4. It became the start of the modern day civil rights movement. He was right in the heat of that. He saw it, he witnessed it right up front. He saw how young people can make a difference when they let their voice be heard.
Challenging the norm was something innate to the young Alvin Attles as he chased his dream of one day playing in the NBA.
Coming from a historically black college, you know, he had an opportunity, he took advantage of it, and he went on to do great things, and he did the same thing when he became the head coach and won an NBA championship.
Alvin Attles isn't the only Warrior with deep North Carolina ties. The very first African-American to play for the Warriors, Jackie Moore, resides in his home outside of Charlotte.
I played with the Warriors. I started 54 to 57. I started with them, played with them. Second year, won the title in 55, 56.
Jackie Moore was the first African American to play on several teams throughout his basketball career, and he still remembers the early battles of breaking down the NBA's color barrier.
It was hard not being accepted. Yes, being called the N-word often, especially like different places that we went to, even in the North and in the West. Very often I was called, the name came out, they would holler, "You don't belong here." What do you do? Get back into the woods, or things like that came out. Even got it from some ball players. "You don't belong here, you need to be down south to the black school." It was angering, but like I said, I was taught, just ignore it, leave it alone. Don't start anything, because basically that's what they want you to do. Courage is like stepping out of your safety net and moving on. Stepping out and knowing that I'm setting an example. It took a lot of courage not to step in a lot of times, like name calling, things like that. It took a lot of courage not to respond, but just to let it go.
It was great. I mean, to do a video like this where you're talking about not only, black history, but some history that a lot of people may not be aware of.
When you got people who are breaking barriers or doing things for the first time, I think we kind of look past their struggle. He helped guys after him get into the league, have more equal rights, being able to play anywhere, being able to eat anywhere.
Try to help bring awareness to, a cause that the NBA is passionate about. The Warriors are passionate about it myself, so to be able to do this and see it turn out nicely and how it ended up being, it was great.
Just to be involved in black history in general, not just for 1 month, because what I've learned is we are our history, and if we don't understand our history, if we don't understand our struggle, then, we won't continue to advance, and we won't continue to make it better for the next generation.
Up next on Warriors Ground, Warriors players and staff take part in helping with the My Brother's Keeper initiative.
What's up, fellas? Yeah, what's up?
Just over 2 years ago, President Obama created the My Brother's Keeper initiative, a program designed to help address opportunity gaps faced by young people of color. In encouraging this effort to see that all youth reach their full potential where basketball can perhaps be part of the experience, Warriors players and staff hosted this recent event at Oracle Arena.
This event is part of the My Brother's Keeper initiative, which is an initiative that President Obama put together to encourage, empower, provide more resources, and all of those great things for black male youth in this country.
I think it's important for My Brother's Keeper, the NBA, and the Warriors to partner together, because what a lot of young people don't understand is there's so much more behind the scenes that goes on with basketball. There's a lot of careers involved in the technology arena that our young people need to access, particularly if you're from a community that has been disadvantaged and maybe doesn't know about those opportunities.
I mean, technology is around us, all the time, so I always had an affinity for it. Definitely got into it, just like Brandon was saying, looking for different ways to improve on being a basketball player.
What we do with Stephen in order to use technology is we try to put him in as many decision-making positions as we can. So what we're going to do is we are going to have you guys read the light and react appropriately. So when you see a red light, it's going to mean crossover. When you see a green light, you're going to go between your legs. If you see a blue light, you're going to go behind your back. Read the lights. Hold still, hold your feet still.
It's kind of introducing tech through the lenses of sports, and to get the kids kind of motivated to learn tech based on a game that they play, then I think you can have a more focused, applicable conversation about tech.
It's important for young people of color to learn this technology, to have this exposure, because in this world, things are rapidly changing. Our economy is rapidly changing, and it's so difficult to acquire skills that will actually stick. But imagine this, you come in at halftime, Steph's trying to see all the shots he put up, and I touch this button just with my finger. Now he can just look at every shot he made that entire game. Many of the things they may not even know are available to them. Not only are they available, but they're doable.
Today we're going to be working with a program language called Scratch, and what you guys are going to do is design your own shoe.
This is my Converse when Larry Bird used to be playing, and Magic Johnson.
These are going to be the dreams.
What are those?
There's so many aspects of technology that can be included into your life. I think it's a necessity to have, to be able to code, to be able to write software. I think it's crucial.
You know, I'll be the first to admit, like, I wanted to play at this level. I'm a living testament of living my dream. It's not the way I thought it was gonna go, but to be able to be exposed to this type of technology, to put in some time, the effort to learn it, and be around people that supported me and cared enough about me to help foster that growth, both personally and professionally. Now I'm sitting here in my second year with the Warriors, coming off a season where we, won a championship around great people and have an opportunity to do some really cool things.
Just hearing about how even famous people in NBA champs, how they use it, it's amazing, because it's like, that's gonna be me one day. I'm gonna be that technology creator, and it was just amazing.
So fellas, yeah, what's up?
But at a higher level, what we're really doing is training these men to be leaders who can leverage technology to solve problems that are specific to their communities.
Since I think technology is now just rising and African Americans are now just getting into the tech field, I think we have an extremely unique perspective that we can give the world.
Up next on Warriors Ground, some of the best moments from NBA All-Star Weekend. Plus, a look behind the scenes as the Warriors visit the White House. One of the time-honored traditions of being an NBA champion is the opportunity to be celebrated at the White House by the president. The Warriors' trip to Washington, D.C. in early February offered the chance to be hosted by President Obama at the White House. Here's an inside look from our nation's capital as the team toured the most famous house in America.
White House ready. Got Jan over here. You see him? First time. Show him what you look like. Right?
I'm out.
I never, as a kid, thought I would be going to the White House for anything. So I guess it was one of the perks of being drafted by the champions. I got to go to the White House, meet the president.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, accompanied by Coach Steve Kerr, Joe Lacob, and Peter Guber, and Mr. Jerry West.
Welcome to the White House, everybody. Give it up for the NBA champion, Golden State Warriors. I was hoping that Riley Curry would be here today. I guess I'm going to have to get media training some other day.
His entire speech was very playful and jocular, and I think the Warriors really enjoyed that. And to me, it was nice to see that the White House understood the joy that the Warriors have together, that they play with, and made it a fun experience, something that wasn't too serious.
It is rare to be in the presence of guys from the greatest team in NBA history. So we're pretty lucky today because we've got one of those players in the house, Steve Kerr from the 1995-96 Chicago Bulls.
I think that what stood out to me was that you had a president that clearly knows the game and follows the players and knows a little bit about the players. He was totally comfortable talking about Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala and all these guys. So he understands not only what the players do, but he understands what the Warriors have done as a team.
Steph's a pretty good shooter. For those of you who watched the game against the Wizards last night, he was, to use slang, he was clowning. He's all jumping up and down.
Moreover, how they've done it, talking about how Andre sacrificed coming off the bench and so forth. Now, maybe somebody gave him some notes, but I think he's a real fan.
In the finals, Golden State faced Cleveland and a guy named LeBron. Down 2-1, Coach Kerr had the guts to shake up the lineup, and it worked. Andre came off the bench, played great D, took home the finals MVP, and it was a perfect example of the kind of team this is. Everybody doing their part, everybody ready to step up at any moment, unselfish play, folks looking out for each other.
Well, it's an incredible experience. I mean, how many people get to meet the president? You know, I'm sure lots of people come and tour the White House at some point, but for us to not only see the White House, but to see it with the current president, it's an unbelievable experience and something that I'm sure all of us will remember for the rest of our lives.
It's special. You know, not everybody gets the opportunity, so I cherish it and I'm thankful for it because it's a blessing. Coming here with my teammates for this moment was definitely special, and it kind of gives you chills.
I want to say thank you. I also want to say congratulations for becoming the first president in our nation's great history to use the term clowning. So that was, although maybe Teddy Roosevelt used it somewhere in there, I don't know. But we want to thank you. Our organization is so honored to be here, to meet you, to tour the White House, and to celebrate our championship with you here.
This is what you call aiming high, and this kind of success and being recognized and being here is wonderful. It's part of the process of having a wonderful team, a wonderful organization, and a lot of luck.
This is a great moment for not only the franchise, I think for us as owners and our entire ownership group. We're really excited to be here. I've never been here, so this is pretty exciting to do this today, and actually hope to do it again.
Thank you for watching this episode of Warriors Ground. For everyone making Warriors Ground the place to be in the NBA, I'm Lawrence Scott. We leave you with some highlights from this year's All-Star game in Toronto. We'll see you next time.
Just the game itself. You know, I watched that game since I was a little kid and I always dreamed of being there. Never knew how it would possibly happen. So my first All-Star game, Kobe's last All-Star game, it's special.
And it's a huge honor to be here with Steph and Draymond and just to have fun, man. It's a weekend for fun.
He's got to make this one. He won it. He won it. He won it. He won it.
When game start up, put our game face back on and figure out how we're going to try to, go after another championship.